Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I decided to do this video and solve different maths problem. So today I'm starting with question one, solve for x. I'll do a few examples in solving for x, and then if you have a problem that is giving a problem, that is giving you a problem, you can just hit me up, and then I will deal with it with you, showing you how to work it out. By the way, I'm Marvin Tapel, and then I'm just wanting to share this with you guys in preparation for your um, preliminary exam. So let's take the first example in solving for x. Question one, say x squared minus x minus 12 is equal to 0. Né? So this is the basic quadratic equation. And then we are solving for x again. So let's introduce our bracket equals to 0. Then the factors of x, they are x and x, because x times x will give us x squared. Ne? Will give us x squared. And then we are going to the second one, which is the variable, the c. Yeah, again the basic is ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's look for the factors of c, which is negative 12. Ne? But these factors of c, which is negative 12, they must give us a middle term. Agreed, they must give us a middle term. Eh? So the possible factors of 12 are 12 times 1 equals to 12, 6 times 2 is equals to 12, 4 times 3 is equals to 12. Agreed. So these are all the factors that when we multiply, they're going to give us a 12. 12 times 1, 6 times 2, 4 times 3, going to give us a 12. Guys, never mind. My handwriting here is popcorning, you can see. I was supposed to be a doctor myself. So, yeah. And then, going forward, we're going to look for the middle term. Eh? And as you can see, our C is negative and our middle term, which is B, is negative. So we must get a negative middle term. Eh? But for this to be negative, one of these numbers here must be a negative number, right? Because when you multiply a negative by a positive number, you're going to get a negative number. Ne? So let's check. 12 plus 1 is 13. 12 minus 1 is 11. So we can get a negative 1. Yeah? 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 minus 2, it's 4. We also can get a negative 1 there. 4 plus 3 is 7. Then 4 minus 3 is 1. So there's a possibility that we get a 1 there. But how do we get a 1 there? How do we get a negative 1 actually? A negative 1. Eh? But there's a possibility that is going to come here from 4 and 3. Eh? So let's place our factors that we got there. Let me say 3 and 4 on this side. Eh? So to get a negative 12, one of these must be negative. Eh? And you want a negative 1. Eh? You want a negative 1. Eh? So this is how I do it. We know the difference between 4 and 3 is 1. We know that the difference between 4 and 3 is 1. Ne? And then the sign of the middle term is negative. The sign of the middle term is negative. Since well, the sign of the middle term is negative, let's give the bigger side, the bigger number, the sign of the middle term. The bigger number between 4 and 3 is 4. So let's give this a negative number, né? And this a positive Then from there we equate our brackets to 0. X plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0. Then we go further by saying x is equal to, we transpose this to the other side, is going to be a negative 3, or x to the other side, this to the other side is going to be a positive 4. So these are our possible answers for x. That's number one. I hope my explanation, I'm not audible, so please bear with me, guys. Like the English is popcorning on my side here. So let's take the second one. No? X into x plus x plus 3 minus 1 is equal to 0. Guys, more guys, wait, and then there's a lot of noise in here. Don't mind it. Yeah? So that's number 2. Yeah? And then supposedly, let's say there's instructions saying leave this in a set form or to 2. There's instructions saying leave this into a set form or to decimal points. Yeah? So the next step that we're going to do here is to make this a standard equation or a universal quadratic equation. Eh? So you're going to see x times x is going to give us x squared. X times 3 is going to give us a positive 3x. Then we maintain our negative 1 that is equal to 0. Then this is the is our equation of the quadratic equation. Eh? Then, because the instruction says leave this in the set or 2 decimal form, we're going to look for our a, b, and c. Eh? We're going to determine our a, b, and c. And then remember, this is the standard equation. Let me say equals to 0. This is a standard equation. Eh? So any number that is a coefficient to x squared is a. Any number that is a coefficient to x is b. And then c is our variable that there's no any other alphabet there. So in this case, our a is a 1, our b it's a 3, then our c it's a negative 1. It goes with the sign. Eh? It's a negative 1. Then from there, we're going to introduce our quadratic equation, that is x is equals to minus b plus or minus, introduce a square root, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Then we're going to substitute our variables there. We have minus our b is 3 plus or minus our b again is 3 squared minus 4. Our a is 1, our c is minus 1 all over 2 into 1. This is equal to, we can put this as it is inside a calculator. Eh? Inside a calculator. Let me put my calculator here. Inside the calculator. So we have a fraction. Our question says a negative. Our b is 3 plus. We introduce a square root. We have 3 squared minus 4 into 1 closer minus 1 closer or minus 1. And then it's 2 into 1 closer. And then we say this. This is the set form. Eh? Where's my pen here? Oh, the answer that we see here. Oh, where's my answer now? Let me say answer. Answer that we see here is in set form. Eh? Minus 3 plus the square root of 13 all over 2. This is in set form, or this is in set form. So into decimal points, we're going to say press SD here, then we have 0, 30 if the instruction says count to 2 decimal. So in this form, it is in set form, and then this is to 2 correct decimals. So I'm going to start all over again. And we have a negative 3. We used a plus earlier, so now we're going to use a minus, and then we have 3 squared minus 4 into 1 closer open arrow minus 1 to closer, then we have all over 2 over 1 closer, then this, wow, why are they the same? Let me check something first. Plus negative 3, okay. Minus, oh, and this one is a minus. No, they are not the same. Square root of 13 all over 2. This is in the set form. Then we press SD. We get a negative 3, 3, 0. So this is in set form. This is in 2. This is a negative. Sorry, guys. It's in a 2 decimal points. This in decimal forms. So these are 2 possible answers of X. So going to my third one is number 3. Let's say x into 4 minus x is less than 0. We are solving for x. So first thing first, let us make this or let us simplify this by saying x times 4 is 4x. I was about to say x4, but still the same. Then x times a negative x is going to give us a negative x squared, that is less than 0. So in this case, we're going to factor out x, since well is a common factor. It appears on their side and on this side. So we factor out x. This side we are left with a 4, and on the other side we are left with a negative x. X times negative x is going to give us that negative 4, a negative x squared. Then in this case we say x is less than 0, or 4 minus x is less than 0. We already got the first x, so let us deal with the second one. So negative x is going to give us, we take this to the other side, so it's going to be less than negative 4. Then we're going to divide by a negative 1. We divide by a negative 1. So this will cancel this. We have x. So because we have divided by a negative number, this side is going to change to be greater than a negative. Is going to cancel a negative. We have a 4. That's our solutions for x. Then number 4. Number 4, let me take this one, which is 2 minus x. is equals to x minus 2. So we call this set forms. Set forms. Let me just rearrange this. It's still number 4, and we are still using 2 minus x. Let me say minus x is equals to minus 2. Yeah? Let's not use this one. Let us not use this one. Let us take this one. So this is solving set form. Yeah, you can get it in that manner that I used first. So let me just take it into this form first. So this is the set form. So what we're going to do here, we are going to isolate the square root, like let it on one side. So by letting it on one side, you're going to say the square root of 2 minus x is equal to x minus 2. We are taking this to the other side, and it's going to be positive. That's what we had in the first set. Since well it is isolated, we're going to remove the square root by squaring both sides, and then the squared will cancel the square root. We have 2 minus x. So this is the same as x minus 2 into x minus 2, right? Yes, 2 minus x. Let us simplify this. We have x times x. It's going to give us x squared. We have x times 2. It's going to give us minus 2x minus 2x minus and minus is going to give us a positive. 2 times 2 is going to give us 4. 2 minus x equals to x squared minus 2 minus 2. Remember, we're going to the left side. We're going to get a negative 4x plus 4. Now we take everything to the one side. So we have x squared, then minus 4x. This to that is going to be plus x plus 4. This to the other side is going to give us minus 2. That is equal to 0. And then like times x squared. The difference between 4 and 1 is 3. So the difference between 4 and 1 is 3. Then we take the sign of the bigger number, which is minus 3x. The difference between this and this is 2. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is plus 0. We're back to our number 1. X. And then we have 1 and 2. Here, 1 and 2, because 1 times 2 is 2. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is going to give us a negative 3. But we want a positive 2 and a negative 3. So we know that the difference between 1 and 2 is 1. And then the sum between 1 and 2 is 3. So because we want a positive 2, let us say negative and a negative, because a negative number multiplied by a negative number is going to give you a 2. But minus 1 minus 2 is going to give us a negative 3. So we have x minus 1 is equals to 0, or x minus 2 is equals to 0. We transpose x equals to 1, or x is equals to 2. Then from there, you're not done. You're not done yet. You take your x and plug them in your equation. You take your x, plug them in your equation. So you have 2 minus 1. Here our x is 1. Minus 1 again, because of this x, it must give us, so this one is not, let us take the second, it's going to give us minus 2. So because since well this x, okay, let me do this. We have a square root of 2 minus x minus x is equals to negative 2, ne? Or the same, square root of 2 minus x is going to give us negative 2. So 2 minus, we plug our first x, which is 1, minus 1 is equals to, take your calculator, 2 minus 1 minus 1 is 0. Or 2 minus, we take the second x, 2, or minus another 2 is going to give us, so we're just going to change this to 2 and change this to 2. It's going to give us a negative 2. So therefore x is not equal to 1, but x is equal to 2. So 2 is our only solution to x. Then going to number 5. Going to number 5, we have 2x minus 1 all over x minus 3. Guys, this is my first time doing this, né? But I've been tutoring different learners, so it's my first time doing a video. It's my first time, so please bear with me there. So we have 2x minus 1 all over x minus 3, that is greater than y, né? That is greater than 1. So you all know that this is all over 1, né? So let us cross multiply this, né? We are getting rid of a fraction, so 2x minus 1 times 1 is going to give us 2x minus 1, that is greater than x minus 3 times 1 is going to give us x minus 3. Any number multiplied by 1 is going to give you a y, né? Then like times one side, so we have 2x, let us take this one, this side is going to be a negative x, that is greater than, we have minus 3 here, we take this to the other side, it's going to give us a plus 1. 2x minus x is going to give us x, that is the difference between 3 and 2, and 1 is 2, take the sign of the bigger number, is negative 2, so x there is negative 2. So x there is negative 2. And then I'm going to do 2 simultaneous equations. Number 6. Number 6, say y plus 7 is equals to 2x and xy plus 3y squared is equals to 15. So this is our equation 1. This is our equation 2. So from equation 1, let us say y is equals to 2x minus 7 and make this our equation 3. Yeah? So we're going to substitute. I'm going to use the substitution method. We're going to substitute equation 3 into equation 2. So wherever we see y, we put this, né? Put that. So let's go. Question 2 is this one. So you have x, remember we see y, we put this. So you have 2x minus 7 plus 3 into 2x minus 7 all squared, that is equals to 15. Sharp. Fine. So you have x times 2x is going to give us 2x squared. X times minus 7 is going to give us minus 7, plus 3. Let us solve this one first. This is the same as 2x minus 7 into 2x minus 7. 15. Let us drop this. 2x squared minus 7 plus 3. Remember, we are still solving there. So 2 times 2 is going to give us 4x squared. 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is going to give us a 14, a negative 14x, another negative 14x, and then 7 times 7 is 49, and then we're going to get a positive 49, that is equals to 15. 2x squared minus 7. Let us remove our bracket. 3 times 4 is going to give us 12x squared, and then 3 times negative 14 is going to give us a negative 42x. What did they do here? Alright, fine. 3 times another negative 14 is going to give us a negative 42x, and then 3 times 49 is going to give us positive 147. Take this to the other side. It's going to be a negative 50. That is equals to 0. Now let us group like terms. We have 2x squared and 12x squared. We have 2x squared plus 12x squared. We have negative 42 minus 42x minus 42x. So then plus 147 minus 50 minus 7 all equals to 0. 2 plus 12 is going to give us 14x squared minus 42 minus 42 is going to give us minus 4x 147 minus 15 minus 7 is going to give us a positive 125. That is equal to 0. It is equal to 0. And then from here, we see big numbers there. Big numbers. So let us use the quadratic equation. But before we use the quadratic equation, let me check something first. Okay, let us use the quadratic equation, which is x equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a is equals to our b is minus 84 plus or minus 84 again squared minus 4. Our a is 14 our C is 125 all over 2 times 14. We take our calculator, open this, we have minus into minus 84 plus open square root minus 84 squared plus minus 4 into 14, 125. We have 2 into 14. We have 2 into 14. That's 3,27 or going to change this to minus. That's 2,73. Then we take these two values of x, we substitute them into our third equation, which is 2 into 3,27 minus 7 or 2 into 2,73 minus 7. We take our calculator again. We have 2 into 2,7. We have 2 into 3,27 minus 7. That's our first y, which is negative 0,46. Or we place our second x, which is 2,73. That's negative 1,54. And then the last problem that I'm doing of simultaneous equation, which is number 8, we have y is equals to x squared minus x minus 6 and 2x minus y is equals to 2. So as we can see, we already have our y, né? So this is equation 1, this is equation 2. So let us substitute 1 into 2. No? Where we see y, we put this. So we have 2x minus, we put that, x squared minus x minus 6. It's important to introduce the brackets because we are dealing with this, né? This as our y. This is equals to 2. So this negative is going to affect each and every number inside the bracket. Minus, a negative times a positive is a negative. So you have x squared, a negative is a positive. You have x, a negative is a positive. You have 6. Sorry. This is equals to 2. 2x. Where's my x squared? My x squared is there. Minus x squared plus x plus 6 minus 2, because when you take this to the other side, it's going to be negative. So that is equals to 0. We have a negative x squared. 2 plus 1 is 3 x. 6 minus 2 is going to give us plus 4. That is equals to 0. So what I usually do when I have a situation like this, I divide all throughout by a negative sign. And when you divide throughout by a negative sign, we're going to have x squared minus 3x minus 4, that is equal to 0. I think we had a situation like this somewhere in here. There. So we're going to have to use our bracket. Our factors of x is x and x. So we're going to look for 2. That when we multiply, you get a negative 4. When we add or subtract, we get a negative 3. And then our factors that we're looking for, it's 4 and 1. It's 4 and 1. And then the difference between 4 and 1, it's 3. So we're going to give the bigger number a sign of a middle term. Get a negative, then this one is going to be a positive. We have x plus 1 is equals to 0, or x minus 4 is equals to 0, x is equals to negative 1, or x is equals to 4. We take that, substitute into our equation 1 is equals to negative 1 squared minus 1 minus 6, or y is equals to 4 squared minus 4 minus 6. So using our calculator, you can use it by head if you are a math guru. Minus 1 squared minus 1 minus 6 over y is equals to minus 6, or we're going to replace x by 4, y by 4 I mean, and then we have 6 there. 4 squared, it's 4 squared, sorry, yeah, that's 6. So this is our last problem, or the last problem that I'm doing. So if you have any problems, just hit up me, then I'll get back to you. Thank you so much.